SIS Ballcock was born out of a friend of mine who viewed something else that we manufacture and looked at our manufacturing process and said, why don't you do something of use for the farming community? Why don't you create a ballcock? Because all ballcocks are useless. So he had all these ideas and he tried to explain them to me, and that didn't go particularly well. So I told this guy, look, go away and make me one. So he made one, and it was a piece of shit, but by looking at it I could understand the concept. So from there I told him to go away, and we made a couple of ballcocks with the help of local engineers who understand the engineering process, and that started our ballcock. Our ballcock has no internal parts. It is able to be serviced completely from the outside, and it is the most simple concept you can imagine. It is blocking off a hole. The ballcocks are on the market have plastic, brass, a mixture of so forth, and they have traditionally a piston and an aperture, and the dimensional relationship between the two most critical components is never stable. We are in stainless steel, plastic ball, and the sealing face is a piece of silicon air tube. Our ballcock does not stick open, it doesn't stick shut. The sealing surfaces are constantly being flushed by the incoming water. We don't have problems with particles and crap in the water blocking the flow of water. The concept is, as I said, we call it the SIS valve. The SIS valve standing for, it's simple, it's indestructible, and it is stainless steel. You can see a machined radius there. A little hinged bracket swings this little piece of 10mm stainless steel shafting. That stainless steel shafting sits in that bracket like that there, and it seals on that face there. It is completely a simple and almost indestructible item. Brass ballcocks, brass arms, they work hardened in the wind. Everything goes wrong with them. All the things that go wrong with everybody else's ballcocks are not going wrong with our ballcock. So we're getting pretty brave and fairly bolshy over what our claims, but we're pretty happy. The ballcock comes in 3 models. That's our standard model. We initially ran it with 25mm thread. We've now gone the other way. We're running 20mm or 3/4 BSP, and we supply a reducing bush. It makes, for manufacturing, it makes it easier for us. We had a lot of people asking, wanting to put ballcocks in unusual places, on hobby farms, cast iron baths, and ridiculously small plastic troughs where they don't have room for an arm. All these ballcocks will seal 150 psi. The ballcock with no arm and the short arm has a different size aperture that the water comes out of, so it is a lower flow. 6mm there and 10mm here, which is our standard ballcock for the dairy industry. A large diameter aperture here for letting the water into the trough. Appears to eat everything else that is on the market for performance, and even the 6mm hole, which is used in the 2 smaller ones, the no arm and the short arm. We haven't flow tested that, but trust me, the 6mm hole is bigger than a lot of the other apertures in everybody else's ballcock. Okay, this is our test rig. Our test rig is pretty simple and very basic. When we started testing, of course, we did it the other way around. We had water in the tank, but we put air onto the ballcocks. So it became very easy to see where your problems were and where your leaks were. And of course, as some of you will know, sealing air is harder work than sealing water. We are pressurised here to 150 psi. That is our advertised pressure. Needs to say it will actually seal more than that. and all we're going to do here is set a siphon going, and that siphon will reduce the water level in our test rig, and you'll see that we are achieving 150 psi. So you'll have to take my word for it. The pressure gauge is over there and the glass has got a little bit foggy now, but trust me, it is at 150 psi. We guarantee it to seal 150 psi, and we are also, as I've mentioned earlier, we're claiming to be the only Ballcock in the world where the body of the Ballcock is guaranteed for the life of the purchaser. We've already had one 90-year-old farmer ring up, and he bought 6 of them, and his concern was his 70-year-old son was taking over the property. Would the warranty cover his lifetime? Which we agreed to. Okay, it's pretty simple here. We're going to start this siphon. Right, these Ballcocks are not leaking yet. The degree of submersion is starting to decrease, and we're still maintaining the seal. Right, this one is now leaking. I'm watching the pressure gauge, and this one is not leaking yet, but it will be leaking in a moment or two. This particular site is the site where we've done a lot of our testing. The original Ballcock we had in here had a longer arm, and of course there were physical constraints with how long that arm was. We went ahead and developed the short arm and the no arm. This is the short arm version here, and it's also the site where we're testing under huge pressure. We're at the bottom of a gully. The static head is 150 psi. We can't even reveal where we are because the farmer that owns this property is deeply embarrassed about a very Heath Robinson arrangement here with regard to how the water supply is brought up the side of the trough. A batten's been driven in the ground, and there's a plastic fitting there nailed to the batten. However, from our perspective, it's been a great site to test it because the Ballcock, and we just had a piece of film there before, the animals were actually physically in contact with the Ballcock. The standard Ballcock would never have survived the treatment that we just saw an animal giving this Ballcock, and of course there's water everywhere. That you can see the pressure is huge, and this Ballcock does not leak. Does not leak, doesn't jam open, doesn't jam shut. Those particular facets of its engineering are what make it unique.